Hello. So today I went a little bit crazy at Denver Urban Gardens plant sale. I was there right as they opened at 10 a.m. And after 3 weeks of saying, no, 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 you don't need this, you don't need this, you don't need this, I got two hazelnut trees, which I'm really excited about. And I also got a little white currant. So these are oh, and also look at this insanity that is the 55 tomato plants plus like some basil and watermelon and bell peppers all thrown in here. But so I'm really excited about the hazelnut trees. They're so cute. They already have little buds. So I've already started talking to them naturally. So I'm going to put them in pots for this year so they can get established. Hazelnuts take about 3 to 4 years apparently to start producing. Currants are a lot faster though. They are 1 to 3 years, I think. So they should be some of the first like perennial fruits that we've planted that'll produce, other than strawberries naturally, because but we already had the strawberries for forever. So I'm very excited about that, and I'm gonna show you how to do this also because I want to keep a record because it's so fun and I learned so much from the gardening videos. So I just wanted to share this with you. So hazelnuts like sun slash partial shade. We got two varieties because they need another variety to cross pollinate so that we actually get nuts from it. I'm putting in the pots where I want them because they're a lot easier to move when they're empty, obviously. And then the currant I'm also going to put in a pot this year because I'm not really sure where I want it to go, but I do want it to start growing, knowing that I'm going to move it at some point soon. So I have two pots here that I'm going to fill up with soil and then plant. I have my hazelnuts and my currant all soaking in some water. This just helps them wake up a little bit. They already have kind of started waking up because they've got leaves and buds. But basically what a bare root plant is, as far as I can gather, is it's like a dormant plant that they just yoink out of the ground from some rootstock. It looks like it's grown with its own roots. The ones that we planted for apple trees had like kind of a grafting point that we don't have here. So anyway, so I was just hydrating these guys. And then this one has some pretty large splayed roots, as you can see. So I wanted to put that one in the wider pot so that it has like the ability to kind of spread out a little bit more, if you can see. So I kind of laid that in. It'll obviously be up higher and everything like that, but just wanting to give the roots a good amount of space to do their little root thing. Here's this one. This one has a much smaller kind of root system, not quite as wide. You'll see some like packaging material. They just put newspaper around it. I'm just going to bury that because compost. And that one I think is actually, I might switch that because you know what? This one's a shorter tree. And so I might actually, I'm going to like basically make the root kind of squish a little bit so that the bigger tree has this, because since they've already started to bud out and have leaves, I don't want to prune them right now. I'll wait to prune them until the fall. Okay, so Dad just came home and I showed him the trees and he was like, oh no, she has a problem. That's what Mom said too, but you know, I do. There are horrors in the world and I cope with the horrors by buying and planting food. I would bake too, but our oven is still broken and it's been almost 3 months. So, I was telling him where I was thinking of putting the trees when we have them for the in-ground, and I was thinking of putting it basically near the stove. We have this like cool old-timey stove. And I was thinking of putting one there and then one up front, just on the other side of the fence on the side of the house. In an area that right now is just like totally taken over by catmint. Catmint grows very much like a weed here. And I hate it. It just is everywhere. Like a little bit, fine. It takes over. So I was thinking of putting it there instead, and he was like, sure. So, anyways, he's on a phone call right now, so I might not be planting these in the ground. Let's wait and see. You know what? In the meantime, let me take you on a little tour of the backyard garden. So, again, I cope with the horrors of the world by gardening. Also, Piper. Okay, and Otis. Where is he? There he is. Hi, Otis. Okay, so in this pot, we've got potatoes. I have Yukon Gold potatoes. I planted 3 in here. And then I have kind of this little understory of spinach as well that's starting to pop up because spinach very much hates the sun. And so I was like, oh, by the time that the spinach like really gets going, the potatoes will be big enough to shade them out. I do have some spinach I planted a lot earlier in here. I'm kind of trying to do like a succession planting of spinach. This is all container spinach. I do have some larger varieties that I'm going to try and stick in the ground. All right, dianthus is good. This actually was an annual we bought last year and it just came back. And oh, in the middle, I have garlic. I also have some carrots back here that are doing well. As they get bigger, I'm going to thin them out because they're quite close together, if you can see that. There's a garlic in the middle there, and then some more garlic there. And then on the other side of things, we've got this little patch here, which Otis really likes to lie on, is a potato bed. I have red potatoes and Yukon Golds, and I think some russets in there. And then at the back of the backyard over here, we've got some more potatoes and my popcorn bed. So here are the potatoes. It's interesting because like the back version or the back part of this bed here is doing a lot better than this front part, even though I planted them at the same time. Not really sure why. So far, I'm a big fan of growing potatoes. I have watered them like 3 times and they are fine, totally fine. The popcorn bed is that back there. Nothing's popping up yet. That was bad. Because I just planted them on Sunday. Today is Friday. So, I'm just gonna wait and see kind of what happens with those. Outside of that, I've got, one little cabbage in a pot and some loofah that I'm trying to grow in a pot as well. But yeah, most of the like edible stuff is in the front. We do have like 60 potato plants back here, but kind of the pretty edible stuff is in the front. And then as I showed you, this is my insane tomato garden. So we have approximately 13 different varieties of tomatoes. I'm really excited about this guy. This is lettuce leaf basil, and they get to be like really large, like hand size leaves of basil. So perfect for sandwiches and stuff. And I think it'll also help kind of bulk out like when you're doing pesto and stuff. And then I also have this, which I am a big fan of so far. This is lemon balm. I actually planted one in the front yard and I think the slugs got to it. It is related to mint. So it grows really well like a weed. So I'm going to put it in a pot, but I want to move that up front as well. Then we've of course got the serviceberry bush that has been here for a couple years. We got fruit off of it last year. And this year I think it's going to be my first venture into trying to make homemade jam. I feel like serviceberry jam sounds really good right now. It's an interesting plant though too, because like we got, I don't know how well you can see this. We got flowers actually first before we were getting these little berry nubs and before we got leaves, which is like, what? Why? But it's just kind of cool to see like the evolution of that plant and how it's doing. I'm very excited. I actually had a really fun time last summer just coming out here and snacking on service berries is like a nice little work break. And that's kind of the hope for the edible food forest too, as well. It's just like, not only does it help you eat things for or make things for dinner and you can preserve and blah 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 blah, but like it's fun to go outside and just snack on some raspberries or strawberries or what have you. Okay, so we are going to plant the trees in the ground. So there'll be one back here and one over there. They're going to be about 20 feet away, which should be perfect for pollination, which means I don't need to move the very heavy pots, but that's okay. We'll move them back in a little bit. So here's our hole. It's not too deep because our tree roots aren't that deep either. I'm going to use just a shovel to see where on the plant the like ground level is. So this actually looks pretty decent to me. I might even raise it up just a bit. Piper, no, we're done. We're done digging. Thank you, Piper. I might just raise it up a little bit. And then what I found worked really nicely with the other trees is I just bury it with our native soil here, nothing amended. I'll sprinkle the mycorrhizal inoculant here, but then I top dress it with compost. So as we water it, then the lovely nutrients of the compost will get into the roots of the plant, but it's coming from above, not below. So it'll still encourage them to like seek other places to find water and nutrients and stuff. So I'm going to put some more dirt in this and then raise it up just a little bit, and we should be good to start backfilling it in. Oh, and I also chose to do the Alex hazelnut here because this one's not as tall, which is fine. But the other spot is going to be a little bit shadier. So I wanted to give this one a good shot at just kind of growing big here where there's more sun. And the great thing about this location too is, okay, so this is south. And if I swing around the tree, you'll see that this will actually be perfect for hopefully growing in and giving us a little bit more shade on the patio in addition to the umbrella. Excuse me, boo-boo. Excuse me. All right, this looks good. And I liked, which orientation did I like? I liked this one, I think. So 2 branches will go this way, 1 up. It looks good. So now I'm gonna get the mycorrhizal inoculant. And this is also something I didn't do for the first trees. I'm just gonna sprinkle this. I'm gonna sprinkle this around the roots. Not let my dog eat it. Piper, don't eat the girl. You are crazy. Okay, here we go. And I forget exactly what this does. So there you go. I know that it helps. That's where we are. It helps somehow. Okay, and then truth be told, I kind of like just backfilling it by hand. So I'm just gonna hold it straight and then add some of this dirt that we just dug up. I did have to cut through the, oh, hi Wormy. I did have to cut through the weed barrier cloth that was here. But I just folded it down to give some extra weed barrier where there wasn't any. So I also learned that like you're supposed to wiggle it a little bit so that if there's any air around the roots, you can kind of get into that spot a little bit better. And then, all right, we're almost at ground level, which is awesome. So now I'm gonna sprinkle the compost on, and then we'll do we'll do mulch afterwards. So sprinkle compost around the roots. I'm also gonna take this guy off. Thank you. All right, I'll leave one on for now, but I will take, actually, no, we're taking them both off. Both of the tags are coming off. So I've heard people will like sometimes just leave the tag on forever and it ends up strangling their plant, which you don't want to do. In general, strangling is bad. Here you go. I do compost because I want it to feel very happy and healthy in its new home. This compost does have like a good number of wood chips, so I'm not particularly bothered by the mulch in this space, but I will try and get a little bit more mulchy. Yay. And then let me go grab it. One thing I've heard is for trees and perennial bushes, herbs in general, what you want is actually a really low dribble that will like go, it's basically low and slow. You go deep into the root system to give the things a good water. So this is very low. Unfortunately, it is not Piper's favorite to play with, right, Piper? Nope. So, but I'm going to turn this on and let it just sit for about 30 minutes. Also, like wiggling this planting can help, or wiggling it while doing the water will help the roots get settled in, so that there's not pockets of air, because apparently with pockets of air you can get like mold and non-happy things, and you just really want the plant to be settled in its new home. Don't we all want to be settled in our new homes? There you go. Tree 1 is in. In a moment, but very back at the front yard, I want to give this one will have more morning shade, or morning sun, afternoon shade, than the other one, which will have a little bit more morning shade, afternoon sun. Did I say that right? I hope so. Regardless, they'll have slightly different temperatures. They're still within about 20 feet of each other, which is decently close, and good for pollination, because you have to have 2 different types of species for pollination to be successful. And you want the pollination to be successful so that you have hazelnuts, which we always want. And hazelnuts, those are definitely things I didn't know could grow here, so I'm very delighted to find that they can. So this spot back here is a lot more like just dirt. Or sorry, not dirt. This is more uncovered soil. It still looks pretty dark and rich and happy, but we have not sheet mulched this. We haven't really done much to it in past years, other than occasionally cleaning out the catmint. So this will be kind of fun to start playing in this area, and this could be the site of many more plants in the future. So this is the dermis hazelnut, and both of these, Denver Urban Garden said that they got them from Canada, at a place called Grimo Nut Nursery. They do nut things. Ooh, this needs to be wider. They do all the nut things, and they're both like these interesting hybridy sorts of things that are basically made to grow in non-traditional hazelnut-y areas. Like, hazelnuts are native to North America and can grow in cool climates like ours, and also handle some summer sun. But I don't know, I haven't at least seen hazelnut nearby, is what I should probably say. So this will be really cool, because I'm just excited to have hazelnuts. Like, they're so expensive at the store. I remember when I went to Italy, like with my sister, one of my favorite things was the fact there were hazelnuts everywhere. And they had like hazelnut ice cream, which was so good. And then coming back here, and here apparently the thing is just more peanuts. Like, that's our version of Europe's hazelnut peanuts. And to be honest, I kind of maxed out on peanuts because I've been here forever. I grew up in the US, like, and peanuts are awesome, but sometimes they're in everything, and I want different nuts, but also don't want to spend $700 buying nuts. So, anyways, excited to know to grow this, and also like cool to possibly grow some of our own nuts. Like, I don't know. My hope is that at some point, you can do hazelnut butter, hazelnut milk. I don't think I'll ever get to a point where I'm like, let's make our own oil, but maybe, I don't know. This gives me the option. So, all right, I think this is good. So bring you around here. All right, so let me bring you around to the hole I planted for our cute little dermis, which honestly just makes me think of skin, because that's what derm stands for, or whatever, I don't know, Latin, something. Anywho, this seems pretty good. So it's actually tucked right behind the mushroom bed here. And hazelnuts are pretty interesting, I think, because, and I didn't know this before I started looking into growing them, because this is just apparently how I'm learning everything about the world. Ooh, it smells like catnip over here. And I'm just gonna backfill. So apparently hazelnuts, ooh, catmint everywhere. So apparently hazelnuts are, yes, kind of small trees, but also they're kind of shrubs. And I thought this was really interesting. It just depends on if you train them to grow as a shrub or as a small tree. So because they will basically pop out little suckers right at the root, the base of the plant. And then you can have like a giant shrub. Some people train their hazelnut to not do that because they don't want a shrub. Some people, and they want a little tree instead. Some people just let it go. I think I'm gonna let it go because, like, I don't know, the world of let the plant grow how it wants to grow to some extent. Like, I'm already gonna be messing with it enough trying to make sure that it doesn't get too big. So what I'm doing is I'm just patting in the soil here around the roots so we don't have any roots popping up. And that there's not any like kind of water there's not any big air pockets. And since I had dug up some wormies, I'm now reburying them. Into the soil they go. And like you can see here, it is clay, but it's like a nice, rich feeling clay. It feels a lot better for than the front yard food forest when we got started, I'll tell you that. That felt very dry and kind of just like dust. Didn't really seem like there was a whole lot going on. I'm kind of, as an amateur gardener, just going to take the fact that there are worms as a really good sign here. So the main thing for this one, I think that's going to be just something I'm going to keep an eye on as I go about my life, is making sure that the catmint that is literally everywhere, and I'll show you it in a moment, or just making sure that the catmint does not start to take over. With like new trees like this, you really want to make sure that you're kind of giving them some protection from weeds who will do them wrong. And you'll notice I'm not stamping on the base of the tree. So we basically, from everything I learned in the permaculture side of the world, we're using the water to do our stamping for us, to use the water as a way to get in to the roots, and make sure that there's not any air pockets. And we also use the like backfill and like the wiggling technique, that's what it's called officially, to make sure that we don't have that going. I also just want to point out, I have my mushroom bed here, and recently I kind of wondering why it wasn't fruiting, because I planted this about 2 months ago, and I think what happened is it got way too wet. Like, this is real moist. It is cool because you can see some of the mycorrhizal life. Like this white stuff is all like mushroom spores. But it's pretty wet, and so I just kind of came through in between planting the trees, and I just flipped some of it so we could get a little bit more airflow into the bottom so that it's not just sitting in water. Because it is on some cardboard so we don't get weeds, but I also don't want it to, I also want it to fruit at some point because I would love mushrooms. And they're golden oyster mushrooms. So anyways, this is what the little tree looks like. Where is it? Oh, there we go. It's a stick. I am going to go grab the water from the other one, put some compost on, and we'll switch them up. And then actually, I realized that probably hasn't been enough time yet, so I'm not going to do, the, what's it called? The water just yet, but I am going to just get this going. Trying to make sure it's pretty even. The ground does tilt over here, so I'm just kind of creating a little bit of a barrier so it doesn't not all of the nutrients just like run down the side. So I'll use that. I'm just gonna pack it up and then I'm just gonna keep an eye on it. Now I'm gonna go plant the currant. One of the things I wanted to do when I wanted to film this is because I have so much fun. I have so much fun watching other people's filming videos. Where did I put my shovel? Oh, God. Okay. All right. I had so much fun watching other people film what they were doing. And I learned so much. So I wanted to do kind of a version of that. So, like, this way we felt. There is a giant dandelion right here. Just stick that sucker out. And we're putting it right where the dandelion used to be. Man, it is really nice because, like, all of the the ground is so easy to work right now because we did just have like so much rain, which is so unusual for Colorado, but really lovely for me because other than it attracting slugs and potentially terrorizing, oh, there's an earwig, one of my least favorite bugs. Other than it terrorizing or it creating a lovely environment for the slugs, which are not my favorite. Don't geek me out as much as earwigs, though. It's probably because when I was a kid, I saw this Star Trek episode where an earwig-like creature. Oh, hi, Wormy. Thank you. Goes into somebody's ear, and ever since, horrifying, traumatizing, will always be a big fear of mine. Oh yeah, and it was like a mind control earwig, because why the fuck not? There we go. Okay. Oh, one thing I should mention that I'm doing is also when you're digging some of these holes for bushes and trees, is you don't actually want to dig a perfectly lovely hole. You want to kind of scrape the sides with the shovel a little bit because that way you kind of prevent this possibility. You make it easier for the plants to start spreading their roots, and you reduce the possibility that the tree or the bush will become root bound. Alright, so pulled this out. You can see this is like a pretty small bush, especially compared to the trees. Similarly, bare root, it has some growth, which is cool. When we got the other ones for the food forest, there was no growth. Oh my god, I forgot the mycorrhizal inoculant. One sec. Unfortunately, I forgot to put the mycorrhizal inoculant at the base of the other tree. I think it's going to be fine because I didn't have that for the other ones. I think it just gives them a little boost. So I'm going to do it for this white currant. I'm not going to dig up the other tree just to put the inoculant at the base. I think it'll be okay. Similarly, I want to just kind of make sure that this is where I want it to be. It actually looks a little short. This is a small hole, so I just use my arm. Let me do a little bit more. So again, backfilling. I just want to backfill with the stuff that we have. Like, I see no reason why not. These are kind of weird roots because they're all going one way. I'm going to try and fray them out a little bit more, just so that it's a little bit more of a stable, sturdy plant. Okay, that looks pretty good. And happily there's already tons of clover growing here, so hopefully there'll be a lot of nitrogen in the soil, which helps it helps give all of the plants their leafy greens, which they want for joy. And then since I didn't do this for the tree, we're just gonna plonk it all in here. All right, now backfilling. So this one kind of has like a little crown right here. Don't know if that's the technical term, but I'm going to bury it up to about here so that this little knob is sitting on the ground. And I'm going to hope that's right. Clearly I'm a very chill planter because we got to try stuff, see what happens. Like, I did a lot of research on plant growth in general as I was, getting ready for the food forest, and then as I've been building the food forest. And for the past couple of months, I've just been like, watching a lot of videos on YouTube, reading a lot of articles and extension guides about how to grow this plant in Colorado, but also how to grow this plant in the Midwest and what to watch out for, and la la la. And I guess we're not technically Midwest, I still say we are. But yeah, just trying to like make sure that I'm doing things as best I can. And then kind of the fun thing with gardening, I think, that I'm really liking right now is it's less like baking compared to what I thought it was and how I've interacted with gardening in the past. It's much more like cooking. It's like you got to know all the rules, and then you got to just you can know all the rules and everything, and then at a certain point you just have to like play and see what happens. And like some things are going to go in the ground, and you might have done the mycorrhizal inoculant. You might have soaked them for 4 hours or whatever the optimum soaking period of time is. You might have 800 worms living in your soil, and you might still kill your plant. And I think I'd always interacted with gardening much more from kind of that science point of view of like, okay, you got to know your growing zone. You got to do it in this XYZ ways. You have to make sure that, you've got the right fertilizer and blah, 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 blah. And I very much appreciate this. Like, okay, know kind of what the plants do approach, know what the plants like as much as possible, and then plant them and see what happens. And if you did it wrong, oops, but nobody's going to die, nothing's going to happen. Because you might still have created an environment that your plant loves. And that is part of the joy of everything. Ooh, is this oregano? Tastes like mint. Because I have the mulch that we got from the city. Free mulch. It's just mulch around the base of the plant. I am a huge convert to mulch now. Because hi Piper. Thanks, Bobo. Because it protects your like plants from drying out because basically I took it out. Yes. The mulch will act as a sponge for water, and it will help keep the ground cool and keep water in. Probably should have put mulch down before I watered it, but we didn't do that, so meh. But that way your tree or bush will just be able to retain more water. It's more water wise, it's easier, it's also a great use if you do have existing trees and stuff and you don't need to buy it or get it from the city. We got ours for free, but a lot of this we did buy. I've also used like grass clippings around the potatoes. Piper, why are you drinking that? Why? You're so weird. Oh my goodness. And then blah 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 mulch. Yeah, so I think we've given them a good start. I hope this was fun for you to watch because it was fun for me to film and also to do. I love hazelnut trees and I'm very excited. I love meaning I'm very excited to grow hazelnuts. I've never actually grown them or seen them in the wild that I know of, but I also just got into paying attention to trees and nuts and stuff, so this is new. But yeah, I'm pretty proud of it. Like, she's just, it's a little girl, or it's a little tree, but it's doing well, it seems. So I am excited as this buds out, but basically day one's worth of growth. This one has almost a leaf, and then all of these have got little buds. So I'm really excited to see how big it gets. I think they're supposed to grow like 2 to 3 feet per year. So anyways, I hope this was fun. And I hope you go plant some bare root trees too, because like, ooh, fun. And let me know if you need help. The weird root cluster from earlier. No, Piper, we're filling the hole. We're filling the hole. Piper, we're filling the hole. This is not working. Okay, thank you, Piper. She really likes digging. No. No, don't do it. You're all done. Thank you for your service. Actually, I might, I'll take this off. No! All done, all done. All done, my love. All done, sweet girl. Thank you for your help.